So I chose the prompt technological evolution from the Middle Ages to present. Um, Coming from an engineering background, this one stuck out to me quite a lot. I find this stuff quite interesting. So from the reading that I've been doing over the last couple of days, preparing for this presentation, I've had a bit of fun just reading all of this stuff. It's been quite nice. So to kind of illustrate it, I've built this timeline here because I understand that a lot of people would read Middle Ages to present and not really have much of an idea of what that really means. And it makes sense because even historians don't really know what that means, which is why I've tried to represent it here. There's a lot of debate over when the Middle Ages end and when the Renaissance starts, and if the Renaissance is actually an age. So some say that it just leads straight from Middle Ages into modern history, but this seems to bridge the gap quite well. So this is not accurate. It's just kind of wishy-washy. This could go all the way up here. It could end back here. There's a lot of leeway, and there's a lot of debates among historians. So I just put this roughly to show that kind of, you've got BC back here, then you've got the Roman period that spans like 1,000 years, and then you've got your Middle Ages, which also spans almost 1,000 years, and then this little bridge that takes us into modern history. Now, the other common misconception that I wanted to clear up before actually going into the presentation is the word technology. So lots of people obviously hear the word technology and think of electrical technology. So like phones, computers, laptops, all of that kind of stuff. Whereas technology is actually, by definition, the application of scientific knowledge for practical purposes. So this can refer to the equipment and the practices themselves. So that means that it's everything from stone tools back in the Stone Age all the way up to our supercomputers can come under the term technology. And how you use those is also technology. And this period here is really good at being distinct about the different ages, because each age had very distinct advancements. Okay, so going on to the first one, we've got the Middle Ages. As I said, the Middle Ages spans almost 1,000 years. And due to the kind of society of the day, most advances concentrated on agriculture and warfare. As farming became a bigger thing, obviously staying alive, you need to eat, and farming meant that man didn't have to go out and hunt every day. So huge advances in that, and nominal breakthroughs. You've got gunpowder, which obviously for warfare was huge, bringing in cannons and then later muskets. Vertical windmills, massive agricultural thing, which be able to make flour and bread. With wheat fields and other cereals, having a windmill to actually do something with it really ramped it up, and you could do a lot in a short space of time. And then other kind of scientific breakthroughs. So this early on, spectacles for the short-sighted, and mechanical clocks actually started then. So you've already got this societal change with time being able to be read by the common man, which really made a change in society. Going on to the next age, you've got the Renaissance period. So more scientific advancements here. You've got the microscope, scales, and thermometer all being very scientific focused equipment. This led to a lot of scientific advancements, a lot of theories, in this period. But most notably, Leonardo da Vinci came up with a lot of very impressive stuff in this time. So he came up with the first concepts for gliders, helicopters, parachutes, diving suits, cranes, gearboxes, and a load of weapons, including a tank, a very early concept of a tank. It wasn't actually very practical, but the fact that he was able to imagine that so early on is pretty incredible. Many of his inventions were concepts. He wasn't able, well, the technology at the time wasn't able to bring them to fruition, but many of his concepts have now been made practical today. And some of them, including helicopters, took a good 400 years to become actual realities. A lot of his inventions involved levers, gears, pulleys, bearings, and springs, which is really advanced for the time. So he was just really impressive. And this is all a couple of centuries before Newton came along and declared his laws. So he didn't even have a lot of mechanical understanding at the time, which was just incredible. He was also a military engineer because the government recognized his genius. They wanted to get him in on their defenses and weaponry. He actually despised war, but he designed many weapons, including the tank that he designed in around 1485. It had armor plating and the ability to fire in any direction, which is just crazy. Okay, so going on to the next bit. Before we get into the modern history, there's another kind of bridge between the Renaissance and modern history. So in the 18th century, the Industrial Revolution came about. There's a huge movement and advancement in technology. It's kind of just at the start of modern history. And as I say, there is kind of the catalytic event that has led to the snowball effect in our advancements nowadays. This all started mostly because of the ability to harness steam and electric power. Obviously, that meant that you were able to automate a lot of processes. And as I say, that just snowballs your advancements, leading to the picture you see there with a lot of industry just absolutely booming. Yeah, so they also, in this period, discovered a lot of scientific principles which set this foundation for future discoveries, which we're moving on to. So finally, we've reached the modern history part. So there were so many inventions of the 19th and 20th century, including the telephone, airplane, nuclear fission, and computers. Absolutely massive. But they are quite overshadowed by the use of the word technology. You think of modern history and you think of modern technology, you unfortunately don't think of these things. You think straight to the internet, computers, all of the electrical technology that we're used to today. So yeah, that is all I have on the advancements since the Middle Ages.